welcome back to Dollhouse of Offerings. A completely wholesome, not at all bad game. Absolutely everyone ends up with a happy ending, right? Everybody watching? All my supporters? The voice called his name as he opened his eyes. Also, forgive my voice, I'm still getting over being sick. He got up and found Kyoryu Nozomi right next to him, sitting on his bed. I didn't notice her getting this close to me. Perhaps the dream was to blame, or maybe he was losing his edge. It could have been both. Nozomi stroked Kyaru's cheek, her fingers even more slender and supple than Kyoko's. Unlike the touch of a woman he was familiar with, Nozomi's skin was warm.
話がしたくて来たけど、やめた方がいい?
Lady, it's 3 in the morning. F off.
いや、平気だ。
うん。そういうなら。
Nozomi acted both childish and mature, her annoyingly cheerful attitude from the afternoon nowhere to be seen.
ねえ、クロ。君は辛いことがあって、ここに来たんだね。
Maybe.
そうなのか。
そうだよ。じゃなきゃそんな顔はしないもん。それに苦しがったりはしてなかったかも。
のぞみは素直だな。
嘘はつけないたちなんだよね。苦労がもっとひどい様子ならいっぱいつけ込めたかな。
つけ込む？君が？
Yeah, no, you got caught on that one.
今のなし、忘れて。はい、忘れた。
そういうことにしておこう。や
ったー！クロは僕に優しいね。それとも誰にでも優しいのかな。
Kyaru paused indecisively for a moment before answering.
優しいかはわからないが、態度を変えることはあまりないかな。
Somebody needs to take a counter of how many times that thing is going to show up. Kyoko might have been the only exception, but there was no need to bring up the deceased.
それ、僕だけにってできない？
どうして？
本気で言ってる？
ああ、意味がわからない。
Nozomi let out a deep sigh and shrugged.
君って女心がわからないって言われない？
言われないな。
本当に？
本当だ。
Kyoko had only ever spoken well of him. She'd never disparaged him in that matter. Disparaged. She was a bit of an exception, though.
何？今頃僕に見とれちゃったの？だとしたら遅いにも程があるけど、手遅れじゃないから安心してね。だってもともと僕は君をたぶらかすために来たんだから。
What is this chick's problem?
たぶらかすとは。
What is her issue?
今のもなしでお願いできますか？
Absolutely not.
本音を隠すの苦手なんだな。
Nozomi was at a loss for words. She looked up at Kyaru and pouted.
そうだもん。僕は素直で可愛い女の子だから嘘ついたり騙したりしないもん。
Take a shot.
どう？こういう女の子。
No, take a shot every time the other image pops in. I think you'll probably be dead before one episode's over.
そんなことはない。どちらかといえば、素直な方が好ましいんじゃないか。
It was just a general statement. Kyaru didn't really have an opinion on it either way, but I can't read today. I haven't read in a while. It was just a general statement. Kyaru didn't really have an opinion on it either way, but he judged this was way the safer route. Fuck it.
そうだよね。君も素直な美少女に迫られたらどうしようもないもんね。
Doing visual novels first thing in the morning. I am smart. Nozomi leaned forward, looking up at Kyaru all the while. The childish and innocent smell of milk mingled with something akin to the scent of an aroused animal. What is with everybody and this dude? What is with everybody in this guy?
いいよ、クロ。
I'm gonna get a screenshot. Sickeningly sweet voice slipped through her beguiling lips and numbed his ear. Right now, Nozomi was a girl, a woman, one he never could have imagined judging by her looks and age.
俺に体を許す理由は何だ?
Now that it had come to this, Kyaru resigned himself to being incapable of stopping her. It was just like with Kyoko. What's more, as he was now, he had no reason to refrain. Not like when he had to consider his status in House Shiki. He had nobody to stay faithful to anymore. If the doctor's story was true, then Nozomi had also been half thrown away.
ダメとか言わないんだ。僕も欲望に素直な人好きだよ。
She is completely messing with him.
理由になってないぞ。
Kyaru put his hand on Nozomi's shoulder and held her back. She moved her warm fingers from his cheek to his hand, tracing its outline playfully.
大きい手、ゴツゴツしてて男の手だって感じで、意識しちゃうな。
Nozomi didn't take it any further. She simply traced Kyaru's unusual large hand, panted, stuck her tongue out like a snake, and licked the contours of her lips over and over. Yeah, she's messing with him. Time slowed to a crawl, and all they felt was each other's breathing and body heat.
だって暇なんだもん。
She muttered, suddenly returning to her childish self.
ずーっとここに入院して、朝起きてブラブラして寝て起きての繰り返しなんだよ。入院してくるのはしょぼくれた人ばっかりでさ。そんなのが何年も続いて、もっとちゃんとした人が素敵な人がね、来ないかな、来たらいいなって。だって僕出来損ないのゴミだもん。だからって死なせると角が立つから病気ってことにされて、そうなのかもしれないけど、でもさ。
So what exactly is wrong with her? Tears pooled in her eyes, and she clung tightly to Kyaru. Her voice echoed through the dark hospital room.
こうなるといいな、こうならないかなって思ってて、そういう人が本当にいて。
She sniffled as a tear ran down her cheek.
ずっと死ぬまで何もしないで暇なまんまで、それを君を好きになって潰したいって思うのはいけないこと。
妥当だ。
After a short pause, Kyaru answered.
妥当？
君がそうしたいと思うならそうすればいいし、それを誰かで埋めたいと思うのも無理のない話だ。
そうだよね。黒はちゃんと分かった上で言ってるんだよね。
ああ、 わかってる。ただ、それ、
Oops. He was resigned to being incapable of stopping her, but Kiaru had no intention of simply being swept along in the flow. He understood her circumstances, he agreed with her reasoning, but that was a separate matter.
ひどくない？ここまでしてはしご外すの？今の、そのまま僕をキューって抱きしめてくれる流れだよ。
勝手にかけられたはしごだからな。
Nozomi tried to get closer, but Kiaru's firm grip on her slender shoulder, didn't allow her to budge.
だったら、僕と取引しよう。
Nozomi suddenly put on a proud look and released the strength out of her body.
君は僕を好きにさせてくれる。その代わり、僕が君の入院費用を負担する。どう？
What the fuck is with this chick?
ああ、先生も看護婦さんも苦労を気遣って言ってなかったんだね。
Yeah, you give them the sticker shock after they're cured. Kiaru silently nodded.
君が預けられた時のお金は1年半くらいで切れちゃってて、あとは先生の温情で寝かせられてたんだよ。まあ、ほとんど食べさせなくても大丈夫だったみたいだし、排泄もほぼなかったらしいから。冬眠してるクマを置いてるみたいな感覚だったのかもしれないね。
つまり俺は、数日後には金を請求されて、ここから追い出されるのか。
そういうこと。
しかも、払うあてもないから借金か。
うむうむ。ねえ、職もなくて借金から始めるって、さすがに苦労でもきつくない？
She's a little bit of a con. That sounds rough. Kiaru tried to think of a way to make money, but couldn't come up with any ideas. He didn't even know the price of goods on the mainland or what the market price was for housing, and then there was the debt to deal with on top of that. No matter how he looked at it, he would be left out in the cold on the streets, having to resort to crime or be wrung out like a towel working a shady job for pennies. Even if he got his body back to peak condition, he didn't have any contacts to find a job. The situation seems pretty futile, hopelessly so. Thinking back on Io's will, she wanted to avoid such a predicament. Even if it had been a breeding ground, she'd been the one to raise him.
それで借金持ちで無職の苦労はどうするのかな。
それ、借金の相手が望みに変わるだけじゃないのか。
何言ってるの？僕は好きな人に借金を背負わせて束縛なんていいね。
Alright, so she's more twisted than our last chick.
俺は良くない。
He's gonna kill her.
冗談だよ。そんな姑息なことはしないので安心していいよ。
Doesn't she mean she's incapable of it? So he thought, but he didn't say it out loud.
僕は君を好きにする代わりにお金を払うんだし、もしもそれで割に合わないと思うなら、そうだね。
Did she just turn us into a hooker? She I didn't expect this. Alright, that's not where I saw this game going. Jesus. And then a mouse squeaked.
僕が貢いでるって思えばいいんだよ。こんなイケな女の子が君のことを好きお金いっぱいどれだけでも払いますって貸し付いてるの。
And we just got a sugar mama.
よくない？男冥利に尽きない？僕は好きにするけど 君も何をしてもいいんだよ。
Like, her smile tells me this is gonna get messed up.
何をさせたって、
I love that he has a look that he could give less of a fuck that he's here. Like, look at his face. He is not paying attention to her in the least. Nozomi's imagination ran wild as she shook her head to ward off such thoughts. The hunger in her head, and then hung her head and looked up at Kyaru with upturned eyes.
どんなにスケベでも引かないから、いろいろさせてね。
It's just, dang it, what is every girl that he meets?
それは。いや、これは。
献身的な乙女を捕まえて何を言うの？
I really think she's like half messing with him at this point.
ああ、すまない。失言だった。
Absolutely, it wasn't a slip of the tongue. Kyaru tried to calm her down, but Nozomi simply continued to glare at him. That's not glaring. Kyoko was also emotionally unstable like she is. I guess I'm just fated to meet this kind of girl. He knows. He knows. Oh. Just always gonna meet the crazy ones. Still, after being locked up in a hospital for years with no prospect of ever leaving, I guess it makes sense to lose a screw or two. Besides, Kyaru wasn't such an upstanding and proper person that he could ridicule her for that.
それで、クロ。
There wasn't a single person present who knew his quiet muttering was actually rather strange of him. Oh, he's gone insane. So that's where we're going to leave it. So thank you guys for joining. You guys didn't totally miss any kind of scenes. There wasn't anything raunchy. This is a good Christian game, and we'll see you next time.